Good evening everyone. Today we are going to do the daily Leetcode challenge of 18 January 2023. That is question number 918, maximum sum circular subarray. It is very similar to question sum subarray, and that is a basic question in which you have to apply Cadence algorithm. Okay, so we can do this question by Cadence algorithm, but there's a twist because it is a circular subarray. So what does circular subarray mean? Circular subarray means when the array is ended here, it will start again from the first element. Okay, so that way it is circular, and we have to find the maximum sum. Okay, so let's read the question. Question is saying we are given a circular integer array of length n, and we have to return the maximum sum of a non-empty subarray of numbers. Okay, so as I told you, the circular subarray means when the array is ended here, it can also start from here, and we have to return the maximum sum in the subarray. So how do we approach it? Let's see by example. So what we can say, what is a subarray? 1 itself is a subarray, minus 2 is also a subarray, 3 is also a subarray, and minus 2 is a subarray. Combination of these two is also a subarray, combination of these three also a subarray, and combination of all four is also subarray. Combination of these two is also subarray, combination of these three are also subarray, and combination of these two are also a subarray, and we have to return the maximum subarray sum. So when we combine these two, we are getting minus 1. So is it maximum? No. When we combine these two, we are getting plus 1. So it is not also not the answer. And when we are combining this, it is getting 1. So it is also not an answer. And we combine all of them, we are getting how much? 0. So it is not also the answer. When we combine it in circular waveform, that is minus 2 combined with 1, we are getting minus 1. So it is also not the maximum subarray. So what is the maximum subarray? So 3 itself is the maximum subarray in this case. So now let's see the second example. It is 5 minus 3 and 5. So combination of these two is 2. Combination of these two is 2. And combination of all three is plus 7. But combination of this 5 and this 5, as it is circular array, is 10. So our answer should be 10. So you should learn about Cadence algorithm in general, but I will show you in code. Cadence algorithm is optimization of maximum subarray question. We have to find the subarray when it is not we have to find the sum of the subarray when it is not circular, and in that question we apply Cadence algorithm. Why Cadence algorithm? Because when you think of approaches, you will start realizing that the brute force approach is of O(n) cube, and you are reducing it to O(n) by using Cadence algorithm. So it is a very good and important algorithm. So you should learn about it. Although I will tell you about this in the code, but I won't be explaining all the details of brute force in this video itself. Okay. So now let's move on to the third example. In the third example, we can see minus 3, minus 2, and minus 3. So what we can see, minus 3 and minus 2 is minus 5. It is also minus 5, and total sum is how much? Minus 8. So what we can see, all of them are in negative. So how can we get the maximum? Yes, we can get the maximum because we have to return maximum, not a positive value. That is not the condition mentioned. Okay. So what is which is greater in comparison with minus 3 and minus 2? Obviously minus 2 is greater. So maximum sum is minus 2. So that is how you approach it. Okay. So I hope you have got a fair idea about how to solve the question. So please try the question on your own, then come back to the video. I hope you have tried the question on your own. So now let's just move on to the coding part. Let me zoom it for you. So before exactly coding it, let me tell you the approach we are going to use. We are obviously going to use the Cadence algorithm in this question. But here is a twist. What we will do, we will create a maximum sum. We will get the maximum sum, and we will also get the minimum sum. Okay. Why minimum sum? Because there are three cases possible, or you can say only two cases possible. One case is when we are getting our maximum directly, as in this case, which is 3, and other case is when we have to use the circular array concept to get the maximum. Okay, and other case is when all of them are negative, but that is covered by Cadence, and we will get our answer as minus 2 because it is the maximum value. Okay, so now what can we do here? So for the normal condition, we can simply get the answer by Cadence algorithm as our maximum sum. But for a circular array, what I will show you, that if you add all of this, you are getting plus 7. And if you subtract the minimum sum, which is minimum of all three is 3, it is minus 3. When you subtract the minimum from it, you are getting the answer as circular array. So what's the logic behind it? The logic main here is you are simply removing this negative term from in between. You are doing what? 5 minus 3 plus 5, and you are also adding plus 3. So these three are getting cancelled. You can try with different examples, and every time there's a circular array case as answer, you will see that negative element is getting eliminated. And when it is not the case of circular array, you are simply getting answers by Kadans algorithm. So this is how you have to approach it. So I request you all again to please try to code it and then come back to the video. So I hope you have coded it, but if you haven't coded it yet, see carefully. So what we will do, we will make some variables. So what's the first variable? We will get a total sum for the circular array case, and we initialize it with 0. We will get a current sum 1 and current sum 2. Why two current sum are required? Because one will give us the maximum sum and one will give us the minimum sum. And we also need two variables that are maximum sum and minimum sum. Once we have created all the variable, we will start iterating through the loop. For that, we will write for int I is equal to 0, I less than nums dot size. That will give us the size of the array. And now we will start iterating. So to get the total sum, we will do what? We will simply add the value of the indexes to the total sum. And for maximum and minimum sum, what we will do? I will show you. So for maximum sum, we can write C sum 1 plus is equal to nums I. Okay. And our maximum sum will be equal to the maximum of C sum 1 comma maximum sum. Before that, I have made a small mistake here, that maximum sum should be initialized with how much value? It should be initialized with int min, and minimum sum should be initialized with int max. What is int min and int max? It is a minimum possible integer value and it is a possible maximum integer value. Why? Because you have to give a maximum now, so you can get the value from the array itself. That's why you have initial maximum sum with the minimum value possible. So it will get updated by the current sum. Now after this, if our current sum is less than 0, then we will make our current sum to 0. So what is this step? This step is the main fundamental logic behind the Kadans algorithm. That is when the number becomes negative, when the sum is negative. So when we add a negative number to a positive number, that means if we add minus 2 to plus 5, it will reduce its value to 3. So what we are doing, we are not considering these negative values, and whenever the sum becomes negative, we initialize with 0 and start with this again. So if minus 2 was not there, our answer would have come to 5, and that is maximum. So that is the logic behind it. Similarly, for getting the minimum sum, we will do the same. See how we are doing. So for that, we are getting C sum 2 plus is equal to nums I. And if C sum 2 is greater than 0, because we have to get the minimum value. So if we are getting a positive value, we will make our C sum 2 to 0. What does this mean? That minus 2 plus 5 will give 3. But we have to get the minimum value, so we won't consider this plus value. If the sum is a plus value, we will ignore it. We will make our C's current sum to 0 and we will get our answer as minus 2. You can also think of it as 5 minus 2, and this was the sum before approaching minus 2. Okay, so we simply initialize our current sum to 0 and then move on with this. So that is how you are getting the minimum value. Okay, and our minimum sum is equal to minimum of C sum 2 comma minimum sum. So one thing I will ask you, I have written this step after this. Is this the correct way or is this the wrong way? You have to tell me about it. For now it is correct. Okay, because whenever you are getting maximum or minimum, you are checking it every time, so you won't get a wrong answer. So when this all is done, There can also be the third case which I told you about, that is all numbers are negative. So in that case, what will be our answer? So in that case, when you apply Kadans algorithm to this condition, your answer was getting -8, -3, and -2. So your answer was coming to be -8. That is your minimum sum. And that is your total sum as well. So in this case, what we are going to do, we have to return -2, and -2 is your maximum sum in this case. So how can you do that? If you write if total sum is equal to minimum sum, then in that case return maximum sum. So that's how you are getting -2 as answer in such cases. And if this is not the case, what you have to return? You have to return maximum of what? Maximum or total sum minus minimum sum, which I told you for the case of circular array in the given example. Yes or no? You can try with different example. It is always the same case. Let me give you an example. Suppose there is 5, -3, -2 and 5. In this case also your answer will be 10, because you will be getting +3 and +2 and you are cancelling them. Yes or no? Because that would be our minimum sum. Now minimum sum is -5 and summation of this is -5, and when you add a minus in front of it, it will become +5. So think around it, and if you have any doubt, do let me know in the comment section. Okay, so now we are done with the code. So let's try to run it and see whether it is working or not. So yeah, it is accepted. I even checked for some random cases. That is also working. Okay, so let's submit it. So yes, it is accepted. So to brief you with, so what will be the time complexity of this question? As we are only iterating through the loop once, it will be O of n. And what will be the space complexity? We are not using any extra space, so it will be constant space. Also, there are various other solutions available for this question, which includes multiplying the array with -1 and all. And that time complexity was O3n, ultimately On. But I found them little complicated than this method. So I think this is the best method. Okay. And to brief you with the question again, we simply have to return the maximum sum subarray in a circular subarray. So what we do, we applied the Kadans algorithm. We thought for this circular condition by using total sum minus minus sum, as I told you in the example. And if it was a normal subarray, we are getting the maximum sum by Kadans algorithm. So Kadans algorithm is very important. Please check it out. Okay, so I hope you have understood the question completely. I hope you liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.